There is. We know there is only one life, one mind, one universal intelligence. We call this God or first cause or higher power, whatever you are comfortable with. I know that there is this energy of creation. It is the energy which has created the universe and continues to create. As our universe continues to expand and new galaxies continue to be birthed and old ones absorbed back into creation, we know that this eternal divine creative process goes on and creates and creates and creates, because that's what it does. And because we are an outpicturing of that one life, that one energy, that one universal intelligence, we do the same thing. We create as well. We create our lives and our responses to that life. And so I give this time over right now to Spirit, and to let it just run wild and free through this conversation we're having about the qualities of Spirit in action through us and as us. I know it is all God, it is all good, and so it is. So good afternoon. We are continuing the conversation that we had back on Friday and Saturday. We're going to keep going through those qualities of God. I've got my notes here. I'm ready to go. And so we talked about the first 6 in the last 2 days. We talked about abundance, balance, and beauty on Friday. And we talked about freedom, joy, and love on Saturday. Now these, like I said, these qualities, the 12 qualities of God that I call them, this is not carved in stone anywhere. You know, people come up with their own 12 or 13 or 15 or 9 or whatever they are, and you are absolutely free to, you know, create and design your own qualities. But these qualities have this universal appeal, and we call them the qualities of God because these are the qualities to which there is no opposite. Remember, we talked about that. All of these qualities exist, like everything else really does, exists on a continuum. There is all of these qualities that are attributed to God, to that energy of life, whatever you call it. And they have no opposite. Although at the level of the human, you know, we call them this and that, day and night, black and white, abundance and lack. Really, everything exists on this continuum, this sliding scale, from little to none to absolute overwhelming, right? So that's the thought I want you to really, really take in about these qualities. So today we're going to start with number 7. Today's quality is order. Order. And you know, it said that order is the first law of heaven. Isn't that cute? I love that expression. Order is the first law of heaven. And it is because the manifest universe, right, births into being, right? It absolutely bursts forth. It births itself into being. But what is the first thing that happens? Is order happens. Right? As soon as the Big Bang, as soon as things burst into manifest form, from pure spirit to matter, the first thing that happens is an organizational principle. And that's order. And that principle starts separating things up, right? Day and night, and oceans and land, and things were placed in a certain kind of an order. So I think that's why they say order is the first law of heaven, and that order is forever being played out on the physical, you know, at the physical level, right? So this grand impulse we have of spirit to outpicture itself in form does so through this divine creative process. And everything in the natural world really exists in a harmony, in a balance, and in an order, you know. And then we humans come along and we want to overlay our own agenda over this natural order of things, over this existing order and harmony in the universe. And that is where things can begin to get frustrating. I use the analogy of your front yard. You know, you get your front yard exactly the way you want it, right? The grass is where the grass, you know, you want it to be, and the trees are surrounded by chips or wood or whatever, and you have your little fencing and you have your bordering edge of your garden or whatever it is, and it looks perfect and it's exactly the way you want it. And then what happens? Well, you go to sleep is really what happens. You go to sleep, you wake up the next day, and then there's weeds. You know, I mean, it happens that quickly, right? And we call that chaos, but honestly, it's the natural order of things. It is a natural order. You know, grass doesn't work in the deserts, right? I don't know why we try to grow it here in San Diego, because we have really a desert climate. So we try to impose our own order over top of natural order when we could be just aligning with it. Grow native plants, grow things that are natural to the area. And everything works out because there is a natural order to things. You know, I think sometimes chaos is the word we use for an order that we don't fully appreciate or understand. Right? We call it chaos, but it really isn't. It is that natural order once again asserting itself. There is a rhythm to life. And you know, we are shown that with the phases of the moon and the tides and the seasons. You know, we experience times to rest and times to be active, times for great activity and times for stillness. And when we are aligned with the rhythm of things, our life flows as well. And so the question is, I wonder, am I in my natural state of order? And I think that's a question we can all ask ourselves. Am I existing, am I aligned with the natural state of order, you know? Because there is that order that we can align with and allow our lives to flow. I ask sometimes, you know, if you think the quality of order is something that you want to be looking at in your life, the question I ask is, women, you know, what does the inside of your purse look like? Right? That's like the first clue as to whether you are in alignment with order or not. Or what does the inside of your trunk of your car look like? Or what does the inside of your garage look like? These are kind of pointers, right? They tell us, or they show us, how is order out picturing in our lives? And you know, if you look there and you're like, oh my God, you know, everything is a mess, or it's a jumble, or I don't know where anything is, that tells you where order is in your life, how you've prioritized it. You know, if you are not aligning with the quality of God called order, you find you're always looking for stuff. Do you find you're always looking for stuff? Then you may want to explore this quality of God called order more. You know, if we desire order, one of the best things to do is to pick a project. Pick a project, but don't finish it. And you know, this is one of the things we do. It's like we decide we're going to display the quality of God called order, and we go into the garage and we go, I'm going to fix this entire thing, and you can't, and you won't, and then you feel frustrated, and then you abandon the project. So what you do is you go into the garage and you say, I'm going to do that one shelf. And you give yourself a time limit and you say, one shelf, 1 hour, whatever it is, and then walk away from it. It'll be there tomorrow. And day by day, hour by hour, project by project, you can absolutely bring yourself in alignment with order. And then you won't spend so much time looking for stuff. You'll know where it is. That's the quality of God called order. So let's move on, you know. Just remember, it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. Let's move on to peace. Peace is a lovely quality of God because it's one you can have, attain, experience, just pull up from within you anytime you want. Anytime you want. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever condition in which you find yourself, the peace of God is always at hand. It is always at hand. You know, the world is a real hectic place to be sometimes. I don't know if you noticed or not, right? That's a joke. Okay, so the world can really be a very hectic place to be, particularly now. I know it's like so weird. We think we're sheltering at home, we've got nothing to do, but we've got tons to do, don't we? Really. And then there's distance learning, and then there's distance working, and then there's all those Zoom meetings and whatever, right? So there is a lot to do even though we're sheltering at home. But I want you to know the peace of God is at hand. It is always, always at hand. The good news is that it is always at our fingertips, always. And we can call upon it anytime, anytime. You know, we say the peace of God be with us, right? The peace of God be with us. So God must be peace. And if God is peace, then that means so are we, because we're made of the same energy. We're made of the stuff of spirit. Spirit created everything out of itself. God is love, God is peace, so are we. That's the way it goes. So we are breathing, our heart is beating, our food that we had maybe for lunch is digesting, the blood is circulating in our bodies. Peace is right here. Peace is right here. There's enough air in this room to breathe. There is absolutely no reason why we're not sitting in peace. The only thing that disturbs our peace is our mind. And of course, we can quiet that as well. When we remember that peace is at hand always, we can go within and we can just touch that. You know, we go within, just close your eyes for a minute. You know, even if you can't go into meditation right now, you can just close your eyes for a moment. You reconnect with your heart space. You're reconnected with what the Buddhists call, right, the cave of the heart. And you know peace is right there. And so we just close out the outside. That's why we close our eyes. It's just to close out any distractions in the physical world. We close our eyes, we take a deep breath in, we take a deep breath out. We go to that absolute place of stillness between the breaths. The peace of God is right there. It is right within us, and it is always there. Regardless of the conditions around us, we can take that moment, we can connect with the breath, and we find the peace of God right there. And the peace of God is the peace of us. It is us. And we are right there in alignment. So it doesn't matter what's going on around us. It doesn't matter what chaos, what upset, what busyness is going around us. Close your eyes. Give yourself that 30 seconds, 1 minute. Breathe in, breathe out. Ah, there it is. There's the peace of God. And then we open up our eyes and we can handle anything. Right? We can handle anything. So let's move on. The next quality of God is power. I put these in alphabetical order, and it's so interesting, isn't it, that peace and power are next to each other? I just love it. Anyway, power. You know, what do I want to say about that? Okay, the electrician knows that electricity is everywhere. It's right, it's in the air. But the electrician doesn't come to your house and stand there and go, electricity, right? He doesn't say electricity, and it happens. Electricity is here, and it happens. No, he's got to do something physical in the world. He's got to do something to demonstrate that quality, right? That's a natural quality. Electricity, just like gravity. It's a natural quality in the physical world. It came about when the physical world came into manifestation. But the electrician has to do something. He has to work in the walls. He has to find a line. He has to connect wires, and he has to connect wires to wires, and he has to connect wires to appliances or to switches or whatever. He has to locate this power source, right? The generator or the power supply or whatever it is, or the power station or the electric company, whatever it is. He has to connect up with it, and then he has to deliver that to your house. Now, look, the power is not in the wires, right? And it's not in the house, and the electrician didn't make the power, right? It exists. The power exists in the natural world. We just align with it, right? We align with the power that exists, and we use it to our benefit. And that's what we're doing with these spiritual qualities. And that's what we do with this spiritual quality called power. We align with it, and then we allow it to demonstrate through us as something in the physical world. This is our spiritual potential, really. Power is our spiritual potential, you know. Again, we didn't make the power, right? We don't put anything into it. When we're praying, we're not putting anything into anything. We're taking it out. Right? We're aligning with this power, and we're letting it flow through us and as us in the world. That's really the qualities that we use. We align with them and we use them. We understand that these spiritual powers exist, and when we acknowledge and embody, we can demonstrate them. And so we demonstrate the quality called power by allowing it to express through us into the world as the work being done by us. That's really what we do. When it comes to anything, we align with the spiritual power that already exists. We allow it to flow through us. We are those open and clear channels. We are that open and clear vessel through which spirit operates in the world. And spirit does through us what needs being done by us. Thank you, Emma Curtis Hopkins. That's a paraphrase. I don't have the exact quote with me, but that's what we do. We align with this power and presence, with this spiritual power, and we allow it to do through us what needs being done by us. And we just know that it's done. And in doing so, we are not fatigued and exhausted by it because we're not the ones doing it, right? When we understand we are just allowing the power to flow through us, then we are co-creating with Spirit. There's nothing fatiguing or exhausting about that, right? Because we're not making the power. We're just aligning with it and allowing it to use us. It's not the power over things. It's not the power to exert our will over things, but it's the power flowing through us to change the world, or to change the conditions of the world around us. And when we do that, when we align with that power and presence, and we allow it to flow through us, that's empowering. That's not fatiguing. It never can be. It never will be. It will always be encouraging. It is also always empowering, never fatiguing. So that's what we've got today. How is that? Order, peace, and power. We're almost home, right? We have 3 more qualities of God to go. We'll finish up with those tomorrow, and so let's pray out now. I think we're done. Let's just go to that place of peace right now. Close your eyes. Block out the distractions of the room, of the day, of your to-do list. And just go to that cave of the heart. Just sink down into that heart space and know that God is all there is. Know that in this moment in time, there is enough. There's enough God. There is enough qualities. There is enough air in the room. There's enough blood circulating through your body. There is quite enough heartbeats, enough breath. There is quite enough blood circulating through your arteries and veins. Spirit is forever supporting and holding its creations in its loving embrace, and we know that we are that. We are an outpicturing of the divine mind that has sought fit to create us in form. We are an outpicturing of the contemplation of Spirit, knowing of itself as us. So we know God as peace. We know God as power. We know God as order. And we know absolutely all of these qualities as us. Giving great thanks, I simply let it be. And so it is. So happy that you joined today. Come back tomorrow at 1 p.m. We'll finish up our qualities of God. It'll be so great to see you then. Until then, Vision, from my heart to yours, we are one. There is no separation. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.